some sticks to make a roof.
Okay, so we just made it back from the 20-acre property. We're going to go ahead and show you that at the end of the video. But today is going to be more of a relaxed day on the land for us. So we have a couple things that we need to get measurements for. Okay, so do you guys remember how in our Get to Know Us video, quick Q&A type video, we mentioned that homesteading is very fluid? Well, we are in our fluid stage still, and so the previous guest house and main house that we picked out to go on the land, we are no longer using those plans. We found a better layout for our guest house, and for our main house we're going with a bigger main house, so it's shorter lengthwise but it goes deeper back on the property. When we were looking at the house that we had chosen, it was a 4-bedroom 2-bathroom house. Wasn't really big, and we want a nice big family, and so we figured if we're going to be building our forever home, why not build the home that we want? And so we looked at some other plans that we found available, and we found one that we ended up liking. Our guest house is going to be 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It's just a whole different layout that will flow better on that side of the property. And then our main house that we're doing now has 5 bedrooms and I think 2.5 bathrooms. It has a mudroom, still has a 3-car garage, and even though that we changed the garages on this new plan, the garages are now on the side of the house rather than going straight down. So our driveway on this side will still work because it will just go the length of the house from the front to the back, and then the driveway will just take you around to the garages on our own side. So we don't have to do anything as far as changing our fence layout or anything like that, or our driveway layout as well. So we figured if we're going to build a house, why not build a house that we are happy with, that we can expand our family in, and it looks so much better. I'm excited for when we get to show you guys our plans and everything for the house and everything. So with us switching the plans, that means that we have to re-lay out everything, all the measurements and stuff for the house, because we are getting into the phase where we are getting ready to get a septic installed. So we need to make sure that our septic is going to be in the right area. So we need to relay out the measurements for the house. Okay, so in our original main house, we're going to start off with that one first. It was 114 feet wide and 30-something feet deep. The new house that we are going to be mapping out for, I have to look it up really quick. And so the old house was 43.7 deep, and so the new house that we're doing is going to be 80 feet wide and then 62 feet deep. So we're gonna go ahead and measure that out really quick. So we went ahead and we measured from front to back. Next, we're gonna go ahead and measure from side to side, which is gonna be 80 feet. Also, talking about fluidity as well, I did the homestead plan video that you guys had seen. If you guys have not seen it, I'll link it up here somewhere, or over here somewhere. But originally we were going to be putting It Is Windy Again. I am hoping that my mic is working. We bought a new mic and it has a cute little fuzzy cover over it that attaches to the camera, so we're hoping that that is working nicely. So in that video we had our septic and our leach field on the back, and so, you know, for the past couple of months Elijah and I have been trying to figure out what we wanted to put on the front side of the property as far as plants, trees, decor. What did we want on the front of the property? And to this day we still can't figure out what we want to put on the front of the property that just makes sense, especially since we're going to have the garden and the animals in the back. We have like our living type areas on the sides of the houses. So we figured why not utilize the space in front of the house to put our septic tank in our leach field. So what we're planning on doing is, let me turn you around. We have all this space that's going to be from here going all the way out here, because you can see the wall right there, and it runs all the way down that way to the other side of the property. We weren't sure what we wanted to do with all the space in the front, so we figured why not put the septic tank there. So I'm going to kind of give you like a little overview of what our thoughts are for the septic tank, and that's how we're going to get our plans built to accommodate what we want. The ending of the main house, the guest house is going to be back here. We thought that would be better to put the septic tank in this area. It will be the correct distance away from the house and the correct distance away from the street, and then we'll go ahead and have the septic tank over here, and then we'll run the leach field out basically in front of the main house, so that we can go ahead and save as much space as possible. And then what will be nice is that eventually when we do put a well in, we can go ahead and we can put the well anywhere on the back of the property that we want it to, and we don't have to worry about either moving the garden, moving the animals, or just realizing that we don't have enough space for the distance of it from the septic tank. Now that we have the main house measured, we're going to head over and we're going to measure out the guest house as well. So we are pretty much done at the property today. We didn't do much. All we did was come out to get some measurements and put some stakes in the ground so that we know where our septic will be going, and where the new layouts for our house and our guest house are going as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say my goodbye here. I'm going to go ahead and cut you over to when we went over to our 20-acre property that we own the tax lien on, because we found some very interesting stuff over there. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. We thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, so we made it out here to the 20 acres. We were able to spot the first two corners that are off of the main road. It looks, okay, so this is such a weird thing. So it looks like it's been recently surveyed. We're gonna have to go on to the county's website and see when the survey was last done, because there are fresh survey markers. And then someone had a driveway cut in, and there is a septic tank along with a leach field installed as well. So I'm gonna show you this, and I don't know, tell us what you think, because it's 20 acres of land. They haven't paid their taxes in 2 years, but it kind of looks like the septic tank was just put in. So we're confused as to why someone would cut in a driveway, put a septic tank in, and then not pay their taxes for 2 years. So, and let it basically, the lien go up for auction. So I'm going to show you everything, and then we'll see what we're working with. We won't show you the whole 20 acres because it's a lot of space for us to walk around on, but yeah, I'll show you what everything looks like. Okay, so we're not that far in from the 20 acres where it starts at. So I'm just going to walk you guys down this way. So there are power poles in this area as well. As you can see, I'm walking down a driveway that they literally had cut in. And so I'm not going to walk all the way to the end, but the end of the driveway is right here. And then that's a main county maintained road. And then the driveway comes all the way down this way and goes about to where we have the car parked. It looks like they were planning on putting a house, because this is a RU4 zoning, so you know, you could do the opt-out on this piece of land. And so they have this entire space that's cleared out, and then as you continue going, you know, you can see where they have like the piles of everything that they cleared. This is the piles of dirt that they have from them putting in the septic tank, and then also the leach field. And then this is the septic tank here. So it has a septic tank already on here. I don't know how big the septic tank is, but you can see this is the pipe that you would, you know, connect to the house. So I'm assuming that they were planning on putting a house over here in this area. And so the septic tank, it looks like this was all recently done. So it's so weird. Like, why do all this and spend all this money and then not, you know, not pay your taxes? And so let me show you over here. So this looks like there's 3 little pipes. So I'm not sure if that's the clean out pipes or if that's the, if we're standing on top of the leach field possibly. And then those might be clean out pipes, or that might be the leach field over there. No idea, but they cleared out this entire area. So we don't know if something happened to the people that originally purchased the land, because they didn't purchase it recently. They've owned it for a while now, but to put all this work in and then not pay your taxes is mind-boggling. This might be a piece of land where we just make money off of it and they come back and they pay their taxes and we get the taxes that we paid along with the interest rate back, or this might be 20 acres that we end up getting to keep and it already has a septic system installed. So yeah, so it's interesting. So I guess go ahead and tell us what you guys think about the land, and tell us what your theories could be possibly as to why someone would do all this work, clear out a space of land, cut in a driveway, have septic and a leach field installed, and then they just stop paying their taxes. Okay, so going off to the right side of the property, Elijah found something sticking out of the ground. He's saying it goes pretty deep in the ground. So we're gonna go take a look, and well, I'm gonna go take a look and see what it looks like. Does it look like someone cleared out over there? Does it look like anybody drove?
Yeah, they drove over here, but it looks like they went for like 50 feet. So I was like 50 blocks over there.
So on this side of the property, there's a lot of, not trash, but there's cinder blocks. There's some type of concrete like this, something over here. But he thinks he found something that resembles a well. We don't know if it is a well. It could be a well that somebody put on a long time ago. There's a lot of holes over here. I don't like all these holes.
Yeah, like this is almost impossible. But I can't
I don't throw a rock in the water. I don't know what that is. Maybe a... So, if any of you guys know what this is, let us know. It's weird because it's a giant pipe and it goes pretty far down. Like, we can't see the end of it, but it's partially covered with like wire and like some type of heavy iron. So I don't know if you guys have any idea what that could be, let us know. But yeah, the property goes all the way down out here and then it goes pretty far back. Yeah, it has a lot of space on it. So I don't know, maybe when I get back to the house we can sit down and have a talk about more in detail of what a tax lien is, and then also talk a little bit more about if we do end up getting the land in 3 years, then what we are currently planning on utilizing that space for. But this is a lot of property, especially compared to our little, makes our little 2 acres seem very, very small. But yeah, if that is a well, or even if it's the start of a well, all we have to do is just have somebody come out and, you know, put all the piping in it and the pump, that would be magnificent. But yeah, there's some trash over here too. I think with anytime you get like the bigger acreage, there's always going to be some type of debris, or trash. I don't even know. There's always going to be some type of debris or trash that, you know, is either going to blow on the land or from someone illegally living on the land. They do have a couple posts put inside the corners and we're not going to walk it today to figure out, you know, how far back it goes, but we for sure, you know, it maybe if we get closer to the 3-year mark, then we'll probably come out and do like a proper, you know, walk of the property, look at the property lines and all that kind of stuff. So this one is not in a flood zone. It does have a lot of mesquite trees, which is nice. And then I think there's an easement for, what was that? Pipe? Oh, oil? What was that pipe? Easement for it down there. Oh, so I think there's an easement for either a gas line or a pipeline, something on the north side of the property, northeast. So yeah. But yeah, this is odd. This is very, very odd. So I don't know. So you guys got to see the 20 acres. Tell us what you think, and yeah, I think I'm a little baffled and flabbergasted, but now that we saw this, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna head over to our property because it's only like a 10-15 minute drive away from our 2 acres. So we're gonna go head down there, and I don't even know what we're gonna do because we brought the little car. We didn't do much. We just want to go check it out and see how things are going over there. So we will see you when we get to our property. Okay, so I'm currently editing the video that you are now watching, and I figured that I would go ahead and give you some updates on some information that we ended up finding out more about the 20 acres. So originally, when the tax lien went up for sale, we went ahead and did our normal research like we did when we bought our property to figure out as much as we could about the property, and everything on the county website was pulling up that it was plain vacant land, unaltered, nothing on it, just like our property when we bought it. And when we went to the property and we ended up finding a driveway cut in, a septic installed, and also a well, we were very confused because none of that stuff was listed anywhere on the county website. So when we got back home that night, Elijah went ahead and he went and took a deeper dive and started pulling up permits for that 20 acre property. And so we ended up finding out that the septic was recently put in. It was put in either the beginning of February or the end of January, one of the two. And then we were able to pull up all the paperwork for the permit for the septic, where the septic company, you know, when you do a perk test, they draw out they put all the drawings, and then they put, you know, the distance from the house, what size house, how far it is from a well. And so the pipes that we ended up seeing that day on the property, they were it was a well pipe, which is odd because it's open. Usually wells are capped off so that nothing can get into them. So it's odd that it was just open. So so there is a well on the property that was confirmed. Now we don't know if the well was fully dug and if it was fully set up. I'm assuming no, since it was wide open and had that weird plate on it so that things don't fall in. But little stuff and debris can still fall in, which could be a contamination issue. So maybe they didn't reach water. Maybe they didn't go down enough because they didn't have enough money to go down. I don't know. So there's a well. They just put the septic in. It was a 1,000 gallon tank that was down there. And then we didn't look up the survey because of course the property was already surveyed, but it does have a utility easement where a little piece of the power pole is on the property. And then there is another easement at the northeast side, or northwest side. On the northeast side of the property. There's a little easement over there for some lines. We also did do research into the people who own the property. We did a deep dive into their history and their background. They are still alive, but even to this day, we're both still confused on why someone wouldn't pay their taxes and then still be actively developing on the land. It's not even like they missed last year. No, like they didn't pay their 2023 taxes. They didn't pay their 2024 taxes. And they're probably on track to not pay their 2025 taxes as well. So they spent the money on the well, they spent the money on the septic tank, but they don't want to spend the money to pay the taxes on their land. We did go also back into the tax records, and we tracked it back to the sale of the land as well. And Elijah found some information which he thought was odd, is that previous tax years prior to 2023 that were paid, were not paid by the people listed on the property as the owners. It was paid by another entity. So maybe we figured maybe there's like some breakdown in communication between the two of them, who they had paying their taxes. We don't know, but yeah, it was just surprising. So definitely let us know down below what you think of the land. It's just interesting. So if you guys have any theories as to why someone would put so much money into the land recently, like we're talking about like within the last 30 days, because the permit and stuff is all recent, but then not pay your taxes for 2 years, because I'm pretty sure when you don't pay your taxes, the county probably sends out a notice to you saying, hey, your taxes are overdue, you need to pay your taxes. So they've just been ignoring the stuff and I guess just continuing on trying to build their house on there. So I don't know, we'll see what the future holds for us in that 20 acres, you know. I think that if they do try to actually start building a house on it, or if they submit anything else, because the permit was submitted and approved prior to the lien being put on the property. So I think that if they try and do any other development or try to get any more permits, because we did not find a permit for a house yet, it will block them in the system from doing anything else developmental wise on the land. So Elijah and I are thinking that once they go in to submit their permit for their house, they'll see that, hey, taxes are backed up, there's a lien on there as well, so let's go ahead and just get this paid off so that we can continue building. So right now we're mainly assuming that this 20 acres is just going to be more of an investment property where we're going to get our money back with interest as well, which it'll be a nice little boost because, you know, you get interest on top of what you paid, so you can't really, you know, hate that. So yeah, so that's all I have for you here. I'm going to get back to editing the video. The next part that you're going to be seeing is us back at our land. I'm going to be basically talking about what we want to use the 20 acres for if we do end up getting it, and if we don't get it, still acquiring a large amount of acreage to basically add on to our second stage of what we want to do. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Bye.
Okay, so Elijah is digging out the entranceway. We didn't have trouble getting up here with the smaller car, but he has been keen on leveling out the driveway, so we're gonna let him have at it. So while he's doing that, let's talk about the 20 acres. Let's talk about the 20 acres, and we're gonna talk about some potential plans, I guess, for the 20 acres that Elijah and I were thinking about. And even if we don't get this 20 acres and the people who own it come back and they pay us back the taxes that we paid on it, and then also the interest rate that they'll owe us on it, we're probably still gonna keep an eye out for another, you know, large acreage of land. So pretty much Elijah and I were talking about, you know, what could we potentially do with more land. We are interested in more land. Originally we were interested in getting land that was attached to ours, but it seems like that may take a little bit longer. Back on the topic of, you know, so even if we don't get the 20 acres, we'll end up getting some more land somewhere else. And right now, I think seeing that land go up on the tax sales, it piqued our interest because we necessarily don't want the land to be connected to us anymore. If we get more land next to us, it's just going to be for us. So we want to use the 20 acres as kind of like a community space, if that makes sense. So for other homesteaders, for
people in the Cochise County area, community, families, all that kind of stuff. Now, we don't want them living on the property. We're not going to be tenants. We're not going to make camps or retreats or anything like that. But we thought it would be a fun idea. One, we'll use a designated space on the property for Elijah. He wants to do a shop over there, so like a mechanic shop, maybe like a computer repair place or whatever, if he decides to open up a business that way. But either way, it'll be somewhere where he can go and tinker. He can have all the cars that he wants over there to rebuild, and so that's how we would use a portion of that. So he can, buy cars at auctions, fix them up, keep them as collectors, or either sell them off later. So he definitely wants that to be some type of space for him. My thought process was, once we get that area designated out, is that we create like a community space for everyone. So years ago, I've always been like more on the artistic side and loving doing anything that involved drawing, painting, sketching, anything doing sculpting with clay, digital artwork, pretty much anything that involves creativity. That has always been something that I have enjoyed doing, and I feel like, over the past, I don't even know, 10 years or so, maybe more, probably about 10, 12 years or so, just life just sucks the creativity out of people, and it's like I haven't found the time to sit down and truly do bring out my creative side. Yes, I've had like little outlets of doing fun stuff on the side, but other than that, like I had helped like a friend a few months ago make a logo for a bakery business that she was setting up, so we did logos and all that kind of stuff. So that's the type of stuff that I enjoy doing. So I think it would be fun to open up like a little mini art studio over there, where starting off with, where I could go ahead and retreat to that area, take the kids so that they can get hands-on experience as well, and do a pottery studio where we can go and we can throw clay, we can build sculptures, and then also on the other half of that, do like an area where we can do painting, sketching, basically a nice little creative space, a building with a lot of windows, natural sunlight, great views, where I can just go to be creative. The kids can go and, basically do everything that they possibly want to do. But the flip side to that is that it would be nice to open up that pottery studio or that art studio for others to come. So, maybe people in the community might want to, come and throw some pottery, make some pots, make some plates, make cups, make sculptures, as like activities where they can come and do. So, other homesteaders can come and, find something to do in the area, because this is a nice community. It's very quiet. It has like libraries and stuff like that, but I don't think it has like any type of major community space where people can come together and do fun activities together. I know like the library does activities and stuff, but that's a little bit different because it's a library, so they're restricted on what they can do. And we also thought that would be a great space where, if we did like anything where we could invite people out to come and spend the day with us or whatever, and they can come in, they can do pottery and all that kind of stuff. So a creative space. And then we were also thinking, if we ever wanted to increase the amount of animals that we had, we can put the animals on that land. We could also get a little bit creative when it comes to different building styles, because it is RU4. So they're a little bit more lenient with what you build. So we can go ahead and, basically do whatever we want on there that is separate from our homestead, because we do want some normalcy? I guess that might be a word. I don't know. But we do want our home life to be a little bit different than anything that we do on the 20 acres. We do want something more of a simplistic, type place. And I think it'll be nice to have that just be our creative outlet area. And then maybe even like, expanding my garden over there and do like bigger crops over there, that, I would like to make more space for the type of thing. So, and then, in the other previous video, I had mentioned Journey to Homestead wine as well. So we could make like a little area where people can learn to make wine, where they can come in, they can process it, they can do wine tastings. I don't know. There's just so much opportunity when it comes to gaining more land that we could do. So I don't know, I think that would be fun, just to make a community space where everybody can come together and, you know, we can bond over similar things that we end up liking. So I think it'll be cool to do like a nice little community space, and I don't know, where you guys can, where everybody can just come together. But yeah, so that's our thought process on what we would do with the 20 acres if we get it. And what's nice is that having the 3-year wait period, we can still figure out, we can still look at other pieces of land that's around us as well to turn into this community space, and we can always end up selling that one off if we do end up acquiring it. And it also gives us time to grow into our homestead, because I feel like if we immediately got the property right now, it would just be sitting there basically not making us any money. Because right now, with it being us holding the tax lien, yes, the property is sitting in there, but every single day that it sits there, it's making us money on interest. So it gives us time to decide what we want to do with it, and it also gives us time to focus on our actual homestead, where we're going to be at forever. So it doesn't make me feel rushed, and it gives us, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air, where we don't have to be like, oh my gosh, we need to get this done because, you know, it's burning holes in our pocket, or we're paying for all this and we're not getting anything in return at this time because we're building over here and we can't focus on building over there at the same time. So it's nice to have that 3-year wait period, because we can always look around and see if anything else pops up that we can get immediately. Something might pop up 2 years, you know, down the road that's literally right down the street from us, or, you know, but it gives us time to just enjoy the land that we have, to develop the land that we have, and to get kind of into a routine before we start adding other stuff onto the routine. But yeah, that kind of sums up, it's kind of long-winded, but that kind of sums up what we would want to do with the land. It's pretty much, it excites us to possibly create a community space where people can come together, because, you know, there's a lot of homesteaders out here. There's a lot of people that just live out here as well that aren't homesteaders, that even though we know that we're all here, it feels like we're all so separate. Besides YouTube, and there's only like a handful of us on YouTube, maybe 2 handfuls, I don't know. But it feels like we're all so separate, and we're all on different journeys, which is fine because everybody does their own thing. But it'll be nice to have a spot where everyone can kind of just come together and have common ground on, you know, something, because everyone has different ways of life, different views on life, different things that they want in life. So it'll be nice to kind of make a spot where we can connect, and even where our viewers can connect as well. So yeah, that is all that I have for you. I'm gonna check on Elijah because he is working hard out here. Let me show you guys what he's doing. Y'all see him? He is doing some work over there. He's just taking dirt from the side of the road and just filling it in over here. I don't know how much he's done, but he's doing a lot, and he's doing it by hand. That's why I love him. He's a hard worker, and he's sweet, and he's great, and he's the best. He's the best husband, and he's the best dad ever. I wouldn't replace him for anybody, not even for $1 billion bucks. So, but yeah, so, okay, so, you guys are probably done listening to me talk, so, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm pretty sure the next video that you guys see, if it's not before this one, is us starting to install our fence posts. We are excited to go ahead and start that process, and it's gonna be fun. So we'll finally have some posts going up. It's weird having the corners put up, and it's weird looking at the corners, but now knowing that we're gonna have full sides, we'll still have to do slats, but at least we'll have the posts dropped in, and we can start putting at least some slats up just to start fencing it in. And then every time we drive up to the property, we'll see, hey, there's a fence here. And oh, one thing is, before I get off of here, since we are going to be having our fence up soon, hopefully in the next month to month and a half, we should have our whole entire fence done, just depending on how long it takes us. But we've been looking at gates. If anybody knows a good place, either locally or online, to get gates, we are going to modify the gates a little bit, just because we see that. I guess we'd be either be looking for a metal gate or a wood and metal gate. Elijah was talking about potentially making a gate ourselves out of wood, but he's not fully set on that idea yet. So we'll see how that goes, to see if he finds any inspiration of some, styles that he likes or what he thinks is doable for us. If you guys know of anywhere that we could pick up gates or get them delivered, either locally in the Cochise area or online, or even not even in Cochise, it could be in Tucson, it could be in Phoenix area, it doesn't really matter. We're going to end up needing 2 20-foot gates, and then we're going to need either 2 more 20-foot gates or 2 22-foot gates. So if you guys know of anywhere where we can get gates, we do want some that are pretty much maybe like that much, maybe 2 inches off the ground, maybe 1 inch off the ground, so that we can get as minimal clearance where something can go underneath it. But yeah, if you guys have any ideas for us for gates, please let us know down in the comments. Okay, really quick, look what I found. So across from where Elijah's doing the driveway, this is just gonna be really quick, there's a bunch of this. There's like a weird ravine here, and so I saw all the cracks in here, and usually when the dirt cracks like this, it's because it has a clay mixture in it. So I added some water to it. Oh my gosh, my hands are disgusting. I added some water to it, and it's sticking. This is how you can know if you have clay in your soil, is that when you add water to it, it kind of just sticks together. So I am filling up a bag of this to take home. And it needs to be processed. That's why, because it has some rocks still in it and everything. Still has some rocks in it, so it still does need to be processed out to get rid of like all these big, like that's a big huge rock right here, to process everything else out. But I'm gonna turn that into some clay, and then as we put in our septic tank and stuff, I'm gonna save that clay dirt, and when we build like the footings for the house and we dig up for all our fencing and post and all that, I'm gonna keep all the clay so I can process it, and then I can start making stuff out of it. So I'm gonna go collect some more of this.